Namaste, welcome to our yin and restorative yoga practice. My name is Michelle Chua, and for this practice, you'll want to have quite a few props, such as a blanket, a bolster, which is a pillow, two blocks, and a strap. Please find a comfortable way to sit. You may like to elevate your pelvis on one of your props so that you can allow your hips to relax and lengthen your spine upright more easily. Yesterday in our Flow and Restore yoga class, we began our focus on the throat, or came back to our focus on the throat chakra, talked a lot about communication and listening, giving and receiving communication from the heart and with integrity. I want to elaborate a little bit more on that as we integrate both the heart chakra and the throat chakra into our practice today. Heart chakra, known in Sanskrit as Anahata, and throat Vishuddha. So here's an excerpt from Shannon Algio's book, Trust Your Truth. When happiness is the only acceptable emotion, and we turn our backs on each other when we see someone sad, grieving, or having a hard time, we disconnect from the fullness of our humanity. We pretend that there is only one appropriate way to be. And this form of emotional perfectionism numbs us from the truth of the full human experience. Practicing the willingness to stay and feel the shadow emotions in yourself not only deepens your relationship with yourself, it deepens your capacity to be human. If you are willing to do the work time and time again of noticing your shadow emotions and then feeling, processing, and letting them go, you start to build your capacity to be with discomfort and pain. You turn toward and not away from your humanity. Then as a result, when someone else shows up with sadness, you have the capacity to look them in the eye and see their pain without turning away from it. Your heart has the emotional stamina to stay with them, to really notice the person in front of you, to feel empathy for them, and perhaps help this person on their path to process and let go. Compassion is cultivated through befriending the whole of who you are, all emotions and aspects of you, the shadow and the light. By filling yourself up with loving compassion, you inevitably have a wellspring of compassion to share with others, heart to heart. So this goes along with our practice of integrity and truth and speaking and living our truth, as well as listening for others' truth, being willing to deeply understand where they're coming from, and not just through the words that they're communicating, remembering to practice listening with our whole being, not just our ears, as we do when we're forest bathing out in nature. And so this is definitely a connection between the heart energy center. When energy is flowing through that in a balanced fashion, we live in reciprocity, this balance of giving and receiving of energy. We are able to naturally extend compassion both to ourselves and to each other. And the truthfulness that comes from the heart is expressed from a place of authenticity. So some food for thought as we begin our physical practice, focusing on these two main energy centers and integrating them, and then sitting in meditation after. So let's start by acknowledging what's present in us right now, beginning with our physical outermost layer. You might close the eyes and begin to mentally scan the physical sensations you're feeling in your body. Bringing a caring attention to all of it, the parts that feel really enjoyable and the parts that feel neutral and the parts that might feel not so pleasant. Sense the sensations of your breath without changing or controlling the breath. acknowledging how you feel right now energetically. And then bring awareness to how you're feeling emotionally and mentally in this moment. What has been at the forefront of your attention lately? And how is that affecting the way you feel? As you start to slow the breath down, feel the details of the breath coming in, the breath coming out. Remembering that one way to clear the passageway for energy to flow through your throat chakra is by sounding, creating sounds. So you might voice anything that needs to release as you exhale. I invite you now to take a moment of gratitude, acknowledging anything that you appreciate. Then begin to center yourself on your intention of what you would like to cultivate or strengthen through this practice here today. In working with the heart chakra, is there any part of you that wants acknowledgement, especially emotions that might be called shadow, that might not be so pleasant and easy to welcome? How can we bring compassion to those parts of ourselves? Or in working with your throat chakra, is there a truth wanting to be expressed through you or even acknowledged from within? Perhaps there's something you're creating in any aspect of your life right now that you would like to bring more power to. And then call to mind somebody you might like to dedicate this practice to, extending them care from afar. And so as we open up the space, I invite you to a little more chanting today as we did yesterday. The Sanskrit chant I invite you to practice is Loka Samasta Sukhinu Bhavantu. Many of you know it means may all beings be happy and free, and may my thoughts, actions, words, and life contribute to that happiness and freedom. It's also a reminder that our showing up for ourselves in an authentic, conscious self-care manner as this is a ripple. It creates a ripple of that onto others. And so I'll sing it a few times out loud, no particular number of times. And I invite you to use your voice. If there's anything that feels stagnant, especially in your self-expression, let that come out, singing from the heart. Doesn't matter how it sounds. So I'll sing it a few times. Feel free to join me. And then we'll end with 3 ohms. Deep breath in. Clear it out through the mouth. Exhale. And preparing to chant. Deep breath in. Loka samasta sukhinu bhavantu. 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 Twice more. Loka samasta Sukhinu bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om. 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 You might bring your mind's eye to the center of your chest and upper back, visualizing a glowing, healthy green light, color of heart energy center. Connecting that light up to your throat, all around your neck, seeing a glowing, pure blue light of your throat chakra. I invite you to begin practicing the breathing technique to balance energy and invite calm and focus to mind and body, and that's Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breath. It's also one that helps to clear energy at the throat as you're creating a soft whispering sound by closing your lips and gently constricting the back of the throat. So feeling your breath massage past it, creating the sound like a peaceful ocean, rising and falling waves. Take your time, breathing really slowly in and just as slowly out through the nose. And we're going to start to move, beginning with at the neck. So very gently, as you breathe in, tilt your chin up, opening your throat. Slowly roll your left ear towards your left shoulder. Trace your chin down across your collarbones. Breathing out, rolling right ear towards right shoulder. And tilting your chin up. Continue a couple more, gentle, go as slowly as you need so that this is not agitating in any way, especially if you're feeling tension in the neck. Another cycle in this direction. And then continue in the opposite direction the same number of times. What are you sensing physically throughout your neck, especially at your throat? Is there anything to notice? And when you finish both directions, let's take the movement into the shoulders, getting into the heart energy region. So as you breathe in, rotate your shoulders forward and up. And you might even side out as you exhale the shoulders back and down. Inhale, shoulders forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Ha. Or humming, which is also soothing for the nervous system. Let's go in the opposite direction. Inhale, shoulders behind you and up. Exhale, forward and down. Couple more times. Go at your pace. Let's bring the movement into the mid-torso, lower torso. So as you root your sitting bones, let's begin to circle the torso in one direction as you breathe in, following through as you breathe out. Sufi rows, keep going. You might close your eyes and really sense what sensations you're feeling throughout the torso, including at your pelvis region. Switching directions. And maybe switching directions again. Also, a quality of your throat chakra is your ability to express yourself creatively. to tune into your own creative energy. So notice how your body wants to move in its own way. Maybe not particularly circles, maybe some more organic directions, more spontaneously. Maybe the head wants to move in a different direction, or the shoulders in isolation. Let's spend another 6 deep breaths. Just exploring any kind of motion here. Maybe the wrists, maybe the feet, maybe the tongue or the lips fluttering. How does energy want to flow more freely through your body instruments? Ah. And then coming back to center, let's switch the cross if you're sitting cross-legged of your shins. So placing the opposite shin forward or on top. And as you breathe in, reach your arms overhead. And as you breathe out, twist to your right side. Keep the pelvis still so you're turning the rib cage, and lower the fingertips to touch down. Inhale, lift the arms, lengthen the spine through center, and exhale, twist to your left and tap down with the fingertips. So gentle moving twist to the breath. Inhale, root down to the pelvis, rise tall. Exhale, twist to the right, touch down with the fingertips. Inhale, press downward to lift upward, back to center. Exhale, twist to the left, touch down with the fingertips. Couple more cycles on each side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Keep the shoulders relaxing down. Exhale, twist. Last round. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. And then inhale, center, lower your left fingertips on the ground just beside your left hip. Root your right sitting bone down and then start to lean to your left side into a lateral extension of your spine, a side bend. Draw in your navel, lift it up slightly towards the heart as you press the sitting bones down, and then lengthen the spine from your pelvis as you breathe in. Keep relaxing the shoulders down, then continue to side bend if it's available as you breathe out. You might crawl the left fingertips further away. You might lower your left elbow. Maybe even add gently shaking your head no and just feeling out the sensations in your neck here. Couple more deep breaths. Inhale, lifting up to center. Lower your right fingertips, raise your left arm, and then exhale, start to side bend to your right. So as you're leaning to the right, press the left sitting bone even deeper. Lift the lower spine from your pelvis as you inhale. Shoulders relaxing down. If it's available, continue to side bend further as you exhale. You might crawl the right fingertips further away. You might lower your right elbow, or none of that. Slightly firming in your belly. Maybe add slowly shaking your head no. Just bringing some more movement into the throat chakra region of your neck. As the breath massages the back of the throat, creating a whispering sound. Use that sound as a focal point for your mind to be present. 2 more breaths. Inhale, rise up. And let's come down to all fours, hands and knees. I'm going to invite you into a long extended version of cat-cow that's going to take us up into downward dog as we move to the breath. So start with spreading your fingers flat at the front of your mat. Stack your shoulders on top of your wrists. Step your knees a couple of inches behind your hips so your feet are hips distance too. Tuck your toes and breathe in into cow pose. Glide your chest forward, coiling it up. Open your throat. As you exhale, lift the knees, pull your hips back into downward facing dog. Inhale again, lower your knees, draw your heart forward into cow pose, peel the shoulders back, stretching your throat. Exhale, contract the abdomen, lift your hips back, downward facing dog. Now keep going, follow your own pace of breath. Maybe another 3 or 4 cycles of breath. When you lift the hips to downward dog, relax your neck, rotate your triceps towards the ground, lift the shoulders away from the neck. So when you drop your head in downward dog, you're stretching the back of your neck a little more. And when you're coiling the chest up, you're stretching the front of your neck a little more. Next time you arrive in downward dog, stay there and dance your downward dog. Let your body express itself by moving in any direction it needs to loosen up. You might add sound to that, fluttering your lips to help relax your jaw, or sighing, or even more. If you're feeling like you really need to release some energy through the throat, how about some lion's breath, Simasana Pranayama? That's where you're breathing deeply through your nose, and as you open the mouth and eyes wide, stick out your tongue and let out any sound like this. Ha! Ha! Sort of letting it release down into the earth, allowing Mother Earth to transmute that energy into something useful. Ha! Letting it go. And then lower your knees to the ground. Let's set up for Ashtangasana here. So engage your abdomen. Start to lower your chest. So as you're lowering your chest, think cow pose. The shoulder blades move away from the neck. The elbows hug your side ribs. Keep pulling in the belly as you stick your tailbone up. And then you lower your chin to the floor. Let's pause here. Ashtangasana. It's actually a heart opening, back bend, opening the chest as you draw the shoulders back. Try to lengthen the neck here, especially the front. Slide the shoulders down the back. As you're gazing forward, the throat is melting towards the ground. Just another breath in here. As you exhale, slither forward onto the floor into Sphinx pose. So with the legs straight back, place your elbows on the ground right beneath your shoulders. Parallel your forearms to each other, palms face down, and then slide your knees as close together as you comfortably can. Actively stretch your legs long behind you, like someone's pulling your ankles back. As you press the tops of your feet firmly into the ground, try to feel every toenail pressing into your mat, so much so that your kneecaps are actually not touching the floor while your pelvis is. Then draw your shoulder heads behind you. See if you can draw them behind the ears and melt your shoulder blades further down the back. So as you're looking just towards the space between the thumbs, tune into another 3 or 4 deep breaths in Sphinx pose. With each inhale, invite your heart space to broaden, your collarbone smiling wider apart from the sternum to the shoulder heads. Tuning into the sound of the ocean in your breathing. Let's continue heart opening, especially physically here in the chest and front of the shoulders. So you might want to place a pillow or other kind of prop, such as a block, just on the floor on the right side of your head. Then plant your left hand on the ground beside your left shoulder, slide your right arm out to the right, so the palm is resting face down in line with your right shoulder, and begin to press the floor away with your left hand so you can slowly turn over onto your right side, resting the right side of your head on your prop. Pause for a moment and walk the right shoulder blade further down your back rib so you can lengthen the right side of your neck. Tuning into the breath, feel the sensations, especially in the front of that right shoulder. Notice how far your body is asking you to lean back. You could also explore wrapping your left arm behind you and or stepping the left foot on the ground behind you. Maybe stepping the right foot on the ground as well, so both knees are bent. Just find the degree at which you can feel a balance of something opening up, but of course, no pain. Sometimes there might be some discomfort. And let's tune into another 7 slow breaths here. Then very gently begin to turn over onto your belly. Come back to Sphinx pose. Pause there for 3 breaths and just take a moment to recognize anything that might feel different on the right and left sides of your shoulders, neck, or elsewhere. Places that feel very comfortable or so-called pleasant or neutral or so-called unpleasant. Just acknowledging them all with the same caring attention. And then take your time setting up for side 2. You might place that prop on the left side of your head. Plant your right hand on the ground beside your right shoulder. Left arm open to the left, palm face down. Start to roll over onto your left side, resting the left side of your head on your prop. And then really tune in. What is your body saying on the side of your shoulders? What kind of patterns of movement are being revealed right now? You might discover that the side needs a little more or a little less. How are you honoring that as a way of practicing heart-centered compassion? Once again, some variations might be stepping the right foot behind you, wrapping the right arm behind you, or stepping both feet down, both knees bent. About 7 more deep breaths. And then gently turn over onto your belly again. And let's return to Sphinx pose one last time. pausing for 3 breaths and just observing the effects of those two postures. Listening to your body's communication. Sliding your heels of your palms back along your floating ribs. Hug your elbows to your ribs. Press down through the tops of your feet, actively lengthening your legs. And let's move in and out 3 times of Cobra Pose. Not so much about how high you can lift your torso. In fact, use more of your back muscles to lift your chest. The hands are just for support to root into the ground. So as you breathe in, draw your shoulder heads behind you, broaden your collarbones forward, lengthen the back of your neck. Exhale, slowly melt down into the ground. Couple more times, follow your breath. Breathing in to coil the chest open. And breathing out to roll slowly down. This time, let's lift onto hands and knees. Invite you to take a block and place it under each hand. Now you can decide either the medium height of your block or the tallest height of your block. We're going to rest our forearms onto the block so that your wrists are hanging loose and your fingertips are just draping down like this. Just really relax the wrists. And then with your arms relatively straight but relaxed, letting your hips stay stacked right above your knees. So this is actually puppy dog, not child's pose. Engage the belly lightly so you're not compressing the lower back. You're supporting it by lifting the belly towards the lower spine. And then draw your hips back, lengthen through the sides of your torso. If your forehead does not comfortably rest onto the ground, you may want to take your folded blanket so you can make it as thin or thick as you need to rest your forehead on top of, like this. So let your shoulder blades slide away from your neck. Rotate your outer upper arm slightly downward, still keeping the palms face down, just flopping them. And sense if there's any tension along the back of the neck here. Can you try to relax that? That might indicate the need to either use a prop under the forehead or not. Feel that the bottom of your front ribs are not actively protruding towards the ground. You're sealing them inward towards the back of your body, giving that back body support. Again, I invite you to listen to your ujjayi breathing. Be here for a couple more minutes. As you continue tuning into your breathing, start to slowly remove your forearms from the blocks and crawl your fingertips towards your shoulders on the ground so that you can slide your hips back to your feet, bringing your feet together to touch. I invite you to turn one ear to the ground. Again, you can use any of your props to rest your head on if that's more comfortable. And to rest your arms back alongside your shins. Like you're a baby in a crib. Let your pelvis sink as far down to your heels as possible. Let your shoulders relax. We're going to stretch the other side of the neck momentarily. So we'll be here for just about 5 more breaths on this side. Just a gentle stretch in the neck in child's pose. And gently turn your head to the opposite side, other ear to the ground. And about 3 last breaths on this side. Bringing your forehead down to center. Spend a few last breaths in Balasana here. Crawling your fingertips to the ground just outside of your knees. Tuck your chin towards your chest. And really slowly as you breathe in, roll your spine upright. Lifting your chin last. Please find a way to sit where you can be most freely upright and grounded at the same time. We're going to spend a little more time on the shoulders here. So placing opening your elbows apart, let's cross your right elbow on top of your left elbow into eagle arms. Whether you choose to hook your thumbs or are able to wrap your forearms and palms, glide your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Draw in the navel, lift up through the back of the skull. And then lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders. Now you could play with dropping one ear towards one shoulder, maybe 3 breaths, and then the opposite shoulder, another 3 breaths. What are you noticing here? Physically or mentally, like where your attention goes? And then coming back through center, let's spend a couple last breaths here. You might aim the breath in your mind's eye into the back area of your heart center, so between the shoulder blades and up and down that region, using the breath to massage that area. One more deep breath. Lifting your elbows back, stroke your arms, open your heart space, and release the hands down. Maybe shake out the shoulders a bit, shake out the arms. How's your breathing? We're stretching all around the rib cage. Is there an effect on your breath capacity? Let's bend the elbows apart, cross the left elbow over the right. Either hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Glide your shoulder blades down, sit up tall, and lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders. And just pause here a few breaths. You sense anything even slightly different on this side? And then you might drop one ear towards one shoulder and spend 3 breaths there before you switch shoulders. And come back through center, inviting your chin to parallel with the earth. Glide your chin gently towards the back of your throat. As you lengthen down through your sitting bones, lengthen up through the back of your skull. Let the shoulders melt downward. Again, you might picture breathing into the window behind the heart, right between the shoulder blades. The heart center, that is, not the heart organ necessarily. One more deep breath here. Then lift your elbows back, stroke your arms, roll the shoulders back and down, and shimmy out your shoulders, shake it out in any way. So besides downward dog, we haven't really practiced a forward fold. And let's do one particularly to help release the neck a bit more. So I invite you to slowly rise to stand and separate your feet apart, wider than hips distance. You can go generously wide if you're feeling very tight in the back of the body at all. Make sure that your feet are parallel to each other, and then bend your knees. Actually, before you fold, I want to show you something while you can see me. So we're going to be upside down, folding from the hips. I'm going to invite you to interlace your fingers behind your head and to place your thumbs at your occipital ridge at the base of your skull, the very top of your neck, when your head is hanging down. So you use your thumbs to gently pull downward to elongate the neck region. So you want to bend your knees a lot so that you're not struggling to release the spine. You can generously pour it down with the support of your legs and not feel any strain in the back of your body. And then as you're coming into the forward fold, tilt your weight as far forward as you can balance. Check in with a breath. And then using your thumbs to gently press down on that occipital ridge of your skull. Try to relax your tongue, your jaw. You can even sigh and flutter the lips if that helps. And then you might even gently shake your head no. You can even softly wrap the elbows around the skull as well. Just putting a very gentle light force to drawing the skull downward as you lift your shoulder bones upward. So you're inviting space in the neck in both directions. About 7 more breaths here. Could even sway the spine side to side to release all throughout it, not just the neck. And if your hamstrings are needing a little more tension as well, you can sway towards one leg and straighten that leg, spending a while.
making sure to balance it off on the other side. So we're also inviting more blood flow into the region of the heart and throat chakras. A couple more deep breaths here. And release your arms. Let's bring the hands to your hips. Point your elbows to the sky, bend your knees, engage your abdomen to support your lower back. Lead with your chest and inhale to slowly rise all the way up.
And once you arrive at the top, just pause a moment. You might bring the feet hips width apart or together. You might rest a hand at your throat, a hand at your center of your chest. Just tune in, especially to the energy you feel in these regions. Still practicing Ujjayi breath. Let's start to make our way down to sit again. I'll invite you into one more pranayama before we set up in a restorative posture that will lead into corpse pose, Shavasana, and then sitting meditation, which today will also be more mantra, bija mantra. So find a way to sit so that you can breathe fully and easily. Your spine feels tall, alert, your heart space and throat feel open, and your whole body's relaxed and grounded. I'm going to invite you into two breathing practices. One of the ways to cultivate balance of energy at the heart chakra is through various breathing techniques or pranayamas. Going to invite you into bellows breath, Vastrika pranayama, and which helps to cleanse the lungs, and it actually can be energizing, as well as bring clarity to mind. And then I'm going to invite you into box breathing, which is grounding, calming for the nervous system, also bringing clarity to the mind. So bellows breath, you might remember, and we're going to practice that for 1 minute, is breathing fully into your whole torso and exhaling completely out, rhythmically, equal inhale, equal exhale, with your mouth closed. Now, you can also help to observe that you're breathing to all of your torso as much as you can by placing a hand at the top and bottom of your torso like this. Or there's a physical kriya or movement you can practice during bellows breath that is actually energizing and brings more energy into the shoulders, heart chakra region. And that's bending the elbows apart, making fists with your hands, relaxing the shoulders. And as you breathe in, you raise your arms and straight and spread the fingers. Then as you breathe out, you bend the elbows and refist the hands. So it sort of looks like this. So mouth closed, deep inhale, complete exhale, finding a brisk rhythm that you can sustain for 1 minute, of course, resting if you need. Then I'll explain box breathing so I don't have to explain it. We can go right into it right after bellows breath. Box breathing, lips are closed as well. You can also touch a hand to the throat and the heart center if you like, or just let the palms rest face down. We'll breathe in through the nose for 4 counts, hold the breath in for 4 counts, breathe out through the nose for 4 counts, and hold the breath out for 4 counts. So bellows breath for 1 minute, box breathing, 3 cycles together and 3 cycles on your own. And then we'll let go of controlling the breath. So if you're going to practice the kriya for bellows breath, get your elbows ready, fists with your hands. Prepare to start. Deep breath in first, exhale through the mouth, then close the lips. 1 minute, go. 20 more seconds. Relax. You can rest the palms face down if you like for box breathing. Sense how you're feeling now. Closing the lips, empty this breath. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Cycle 2. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4. Continue 3 more cycles on your own. Taking your time when you do finish, breathe naturally and spend a few moments observing anything you feel. As you continue to breathe naturally, I'm going to invite you to very mindfully set up for supported fish pose with an option to place your knees apart in Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound angle, to which you may like to have. And if you don't choose to have your knees apart, soles of the feet together, you can also stretch the legs out, maybe add some lower back support by placing a pillow like this under the backs of your knees, like this. But behind you, as you're sitting, let's set up 2 blocks. One at the tallest height, furthest away for the back of your skull. One at the second level or medium height, either crossing your mat horizontally like this, so that the blocks are spaced further apart, like 5 to 6 inches apart, or this low block can trace the midline of the length of your mat, so the blocks are closer together, like maybe 1 or 2 inches apart. Either way, you'll want the closest edge of that lowest block that's closest to you to land right beneath the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. So the pelvis remains on the floor. And then your shoulders should feel a sense of freedom to just drop down into the empty space as your neck is free too. The back of your skull is on the furthest block, and then you can decide to switch up the block that's under the shoulder blades if one direction feels better than the other. And then the one that's behind your head, if it feels like you could open up the throat and the chest a little more without straining the back of the neck, you could tilt that block under your head either 1 or 2 steps lower. And to further open up the front of your shoulders, from the shoulders, spin your arms to turn your palms face up and land the backs of your hands on the ground, slightly away from your thighs. Make any adjustments so that you can be here for at least 3 minutes in stillness comfortably. No longer controlling your breath, but staying aware of the breath as your bridge between mind and body. As you start to arrive in stillness, I invite you to mentally scan your physical body. Notice how your head feels. Is it completely supported so your neck is not struggling to hold it up? Allow your jaw to completely soften, including behind your ears and your tongue. Let your eyes and the muscles around your eyes relax too. And notice your chest. Let your shoulder bones just submit to the weight of gravity, naturally opening your heart center space. Let your arms be freely heavy, resting on the earth. Hands relaxed, belly soft, pelvic floor relaxed. Feel the weight of your pelvis. And let all the bones throughout your spine, your legs, just be heavy. Exerting no effort to hold your body in a position. You are surrendering into the position. Let your feet relax. So now we transition into corpse pose or shavasana. If you're going to move out of this position into something that you feel is more comfortable, please do so really slowly and gently so as not to jar your nervous system. Otherwise, you're welcome to stay here. Notice where your attention is now. And gently bring it back to your physical body and notice how it's feeling. Little by little, let your body lead you in to any movements to begin waking up. Find your path of least resistance to eventually rise into a comfortable seat, preparing to sit for 5 minutes in meditation. Allow your shoulders to soften just above your hips, exposing a bright open heart space. As you lengthen through the top of your head, find that natural space at your throat. As I mentioned, I'm going to invite you into a mantra meditation using your voice, which you could do out loud or mentally. I personally feel it's more powerful effect when I'm chanting out loud. You can actually feel the physical vibration in your body. So I'm going to invite you into chanting and visualizing the seed sound or bija mantra for each of your heart chakra and your throat chakra. So as you're sitting here now, maybe close the eyes. And if not, you might steady a gentle gaze downcast. Begin by sensing your natural breath again, coming and going as it is. I invite you to bring your mind's eye to your sternum region and between your shoulder blades, the region of your heart chakra. Perhaps visualizing a green glowing light, like much of the color of the forest, a thriving forest. Sensing that the energy here includes how you feel when you're most compassionate, when you're honestly loving yourself and the world and others around you. See if you can contact the feeling when you feel a balance of reciprocity of giving and receiving, care, love, energy, presence. When you are sincere to yourself and others, and allowing the whole gamut of your human experience, not only celebrating happiness and looking at that, but also acknowledging when the more difficult emotions may arise and holding that with care. And the seed sound here, I invite you to place visually into the heart center and then to echo from there outward. Yum, yum. Let's chant that several times and just let it fade out when it does. Deep breath in. Yum. 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 Visualize that green glowing light and that loving, compassionate energy rising up to your throat and engulfing all of your neck, which contains a blue glowing light pure, vast, like the ocean, like the sky. Contact the feeling when you feel in integrity with yourself. Your inner being and your outer being are aligned. Can you remember a moment when you've expressed yourself and used your voice, stood in your power in a loving, compassionate way, but also with full honesty, allowing your full creative, unique expression, embracing all that is you, the shadow and the light, finding your medicine in the shadow and parts of you that you heal. And with that, the seed sound here is hum, hum, voicing freedom of expression and kindness of deep listening. Deep breath in. Hum. 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 Sitting for a minute of silence, just observe inwardly. Now notice how you're feeling in mind and heart, sensing the effects of your various practices of yoga. To whom or what might you offer gratitude in this moment? And then recall your intention for this practice. You might say it out loud, claiming it with your voice. Bring back to mind to whomever you dedicated this practice. And together, let's close chanting Om 3 times. Breathing in. Om. 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 bowing in. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.